Thank you.
Deputy Speaker.
Member for Jandakot, may I pay my congratulations to you in this new role and in the new House.
Thank you very much. Deputy Speaker, I begin my remarks by acknowledging the Noongar people, particularly the Whadjuk people, as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and every day we sit in this place for the years to come. I pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and give thanks to those I've been privileged to work alongside already in my time as a Member of Parliament in the other place and as a councillor previously at the City of Coburn. And may I also acknowledge the Member for Forestfield on his election as Speaker of this place and congratulate him on that appointment. In that vein, I extend my congratulations to all new members of the Parliament, whom I look forward to getting to know a little better over the years to come. I also take the opportunity to congratulate the members for Butler and Mount Lawley on their magnificent inaugural speeches this week. They've certainly made me more anxious about delivering my second inaugural speech. And finally, can I place on the record the enormous sense of pride I have in being able to contribute to a Cook Labor government. Deputy Speaker, being in this place gives me a new and previously unavailable opportunity to personally thank our Premier Roger Cook, as we're finally sitting in the same chamber as each other. We go way back. It was an honour to work in his electorate office for over 9 years in opposition, then as a senior advisor in his office as Deputy Premier and Minister for Health and Mental Health, and for the past 4 years in the other place. I know him well. He's an honest, hard-working and visionary leader with immense loyalty to the people of Western Australia. I have on occasion referred to him as the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. Most importantly, our shared loyalty and commitment is powered by the values of the Labor Party: fairness, opportunity and standing up for working people and those who are most vulnerable in our society. It has always been unwavering. I intend to bring that same commitment to the people of Jandakot every single day. The people of Western Australia also recognise the strength of Roger Cook and the WA Labor team, as is evidenced by the return Labor majority government for an historic third term. The election campaign that was run boiled down to a simple message: by creating and maintaining a strong economy, we can invest in essential services, community infrastructure and provide cost of living support. It was a vision to make life better for everyday Western Australians, and that is why we all come to this place. I am honoured to be part of a team that will work every day to deliver on that commitment. Deputy Speaker, I realise more than anybody how lucky I am to be standing in this chamber today. 4 years ago, I was fortunate to be elected to the other chamber, after being number 4 on the WA Labor ticket for the South Metropolitan region. So having given one of these inaugural speeches before, I'm not exactly sure how to refer to this one. I know it's customary to spend some time talking about oneself as a way of introducing yourself to the Parliament. However, given the alternative path that I've trodden to arrive in this place, quite literally down the corridor, I hope to also bring a different approach. I've been very fortunate to spend the last 4 years with the guidance and wisdom of people such as the Honourable Sue Ellery, who delivered a brilliant valedictory speech on Tuesday afternoon this week. I congratulate her for the amazing contribution that she has made to Western Australia through her time as a Member of Parliament. I have huge respect for the members who sit in the other place from all political persuasions and will always cherish the experience of having worked with them. I make special mention of President Alana Clossy, the Honourable Stephen Dawson and Honourable Jackie Jarvis, who will lead our team in the other place, along with the Honourable Matthew Swinburne and all members of our party in that place. The experience has taught me the importance of turning words into action, because after all, in time, that is how we will all be judged. So as I skip over the biography bit of my speech, and instead encourage everyone to have a read of my inaugural speech from the other place, it's a good read, I hope to go some way to making one very important point. And that point is this: today is not about me. Rather, It is about the close to 30,000 people of the Jandakot electorate who have placed their faith in me and a Labor government to represent them in this place. I am acutely aware that not every one of those 30,000 people voted for me or our party, but I will work for every single one of them to make Jandakot an even better place to live, to work and to raise a family. As I assume the title of Member for Jandakot from the one and only Yaz Mubarakai, the new member for Oakford, I congratulate and thank Yaz, who represented the electorate for 8 years. He will of course now become the first ever member for the new seat of Oakford, and I'm pleased to be able to carry on the work he started. As he mentioned earlier in his interesting deliberations in this place, we both served as councillors at the City of Cockburn before he went on to bigger and better things and I decided to try and chase that dream. I believe that Jandakot should never be underestimated. It makes a big financial, commercial and community contribution to our economy. It's the home of important infrastructure like Jandakot Airport and the Perth markets, significant community services such as the Royal Flying Doctor Service, the RAC Rescue Helicopter Service and Good Sammy Enterprises. Businesses driving our economy here in WA, like the Amazon Fulfilment Centre, Fremantle Steel, and of course, who could forget the WA icon, Tony Galati and the Galati family's Spud Shed. But all these things on top of the many schools, community groups and sporting clubs and multicultural groups are only part of the picture of Jandakot. To really understand the electorate, you've got to get out and visit the suburbs, each with their own identity, because really that is what makes a community a community. Having now walked the entirety of the electorate, I know each suburb very well and know that each suburb has its own identity and needs. I've made some great connections along the way with people like Daryl Munro in Atwell, who is heavily involved with the Jandakot Jets Junior Football Club, Peter Ho in Leeming, who helps bridge gaps across multicultural communities, Dr James Paratore, who works in Canning Vale as a general practitioner, or Lanny Slaughter in Treeby, who runs the community association there. I'm so glad that I've been able to meet these people and that the people of Jandakot have chosen me to represent them in this place. However, the successful result on March 8, 2025 didn't just happen by chance. It required a mountain of effort. In fact, when it was put to me that I should be the WA Labor candidate for Jandakot, there were a lot of unknowns. I knew it was going to be a challenge. A significant boundary redistribution was applied in 2023 with the creation of the neighbouring seat of Oakford. It meant that 41% of electors who were previously in Jandakot had now been moved to Oakford, primarily from the suburbs of Forestdale, Harrisdale and Piara Waters. The new electorate of Jandakot inherited patches from neighbouring electorates of Cockburn and Riverton. The electorate of Jandakot would now span 7 suburbs in 5 different local government areas, have 3 federal members and gain new parts of Leeming, Atwell and Banjup. There was a lot of ground to cover, and cover it we did. Leading up to the campaign, we got out and spoke to as many local residents as possible. Now, door knocking isn't something that comes that naturally to me. However, the more doors I knocked on, the more energy I got. People were incredibly welcoming and friendly, and I was encouraged and driven by this. I give special thanks to those residents who offered me a cool drink on the hot days. And as I moved around the electorate, listening to people, visiting clubs and businesses and understanding more about the community, one thing became abundantly clear. Jandakot is the electorate of opportunity in Western Australia, not only because of the development that is already scheduled to occur, with our Metronet stations at Ranford Road and Nicholson Road, the Cook Labor government are getting on with the job of delivering on our Metronet system, and our ongoing commitment to public transport is one of the most glaringly obvious differences between our side and that of the opposition. I look forward to being at the opening of both these projects. Another project is the Women and Babies Hospital, which will be on the doorstep of the electorate at the Murdoch Health and Knowledge Precinct. I had residents, as I was door knocking, share their excitement for that project. Another project that isn't necessarily a government project but is being invested by private investors is the new wave park, which there is plenty of excitement about and has been on quite a journey from its original plan. But as I was getting around, it was amazing the people from all different demographics showing interest in that. People that used to surf wanting to find somewhere safe to go that will be just up the road. AUKUS, which has been mentioned several times this week in this place, all of which will be supported by commitments of the incoming Cook Labor government, including widening the Kwinana Freeway South, which I know residents in Atwell especially will be excited about, cheaper public transport, the very popular student assistance payment, which the Cook government is wasting no time in implementing, and of course our commitment to free TAFE and an expanded range of free TAFE courses. I am very proud of the commitment that we have made for the area, the commitments that we have made for the area, and I look forward to working to deliver the new Treeby East Primary School at a cost of $55 million. Amazingly, this relatively new suburb has a primary school which is already close to capacity, so we're planning for the future needs of that community. A $2.6 million commitment in Atwell for the upgrades to the Atwell Reserve Multi-Sport Pavilion. Now that came about with the strong advocacy of people like Daryl Munro and Lee McIntyre from the football club, and as a result of the huge growth in women's participation in Aussie rules football that we've seen in recent years. A similar project to that is in Leeming, I'm jumping ahead, the Bull Creek Leeming Football Club, who were in my ear for the 12 months leading up to the election and went and did the work, put a plan together, were able to get a commitment from the local government, and that made our job even easier. And going down there with the Premier to announce that, I actually had a lot of fun after he was departing, and I had a go at kicking a few goals, and if you get the time you might be able to find that video on my Facebook. It was a lot of fun. Kicking goals for Jandakot. The Cooling Our Schools initiative, which will see Canning Vale Primary School receive a much needed upgrade to their air conditioning system in the school. Again, thinking ahead with the new community that is growing in the suburb of Jandakot, we've made a commitment of $8 million to a future Prinsep Park sporting complex, which will be a contribution towards the construction of a new sporting facility in that location. And I look forward to working with the City of Coburn to see that project come to fruition. In Leeming, for several months leading up to the election, there were some local residents, especially Mr Con Abbott, Ian and Gail Chadwick, local councillor Jen Spanbroke and the City of Melville were in my ear seeking funding to make Farrington Road a safer place for people to cross. And so I was very pleased that we were able to commit funding towards a signalised crossing in that location near the Leeming Forum and Leeming Senior High School. I made a commitment to deliver a new outdoor learning space and nature play area at Outwell College for the Education Support Centre, and I thank Minister Buddy for joining me and the Premier, and give credit to Principal Darren Payton and Deputy Principal Brent Pashier, who is extremely passionate about the work they do in the Education Support Centre there, but this project will be for the entire school, so it's a great one that I look forward to delivering. We'll also contribute towards Good Sammy, who are upgrading their training facilities in Canning Vale. This will provide a more inclusive experience for employees, trainees and guests. Kane Blackman and the team at Good Sammy do great work supporting Western Australians of all ages and abilities to achieve their employment goals and to provide affordable items for those who need it across our community. The Nicholson Road and Wharton Road intersection upgrade has been a touchy subject for many years, and I know the outgoing member and new member for Oakwood knows this all too well. So it was fantastic to see that a Cook Labor government will finally deliver on this promise, as well as a $12.5 million commitment towards the Canning Vale Sporting Complex. There's a bit of a theme with some of my commitments. You can tell I'm pretty keen on my local community sporting clubs. In Canning Vale though, for many years, the large mix of community sporting clubs have been having to play games not knowing where their home ground will be from week to week. They've been using Clifton Oval, Canning Vale Oval and Ranford Oval, and now they'll finally have a home base, which I know they'll all be very happy with. Especially want to give credit to Brendan Fowler and Trent Bettersworth from the Senior Cricket Club, who have played a particularly strong role in advocating for that project. As I said, I'm clearly passionate about community sport and wanted to make sure clubs in Jandakot have access to good quality equipment and facilities. And I know the impact our local public schools have on our children's lives, so I ensured that I made a commitment to every school within the electorate, and I look forward to supporting and working with all the PNC groups who do such valuable work in our school communities. There are several policy areas that I have a keen interest in. Firstly, health. And Deputy Speaker, I might just request an extension of time because I can see the Attorney General panicking. Thank you for that. That's granted. Fantastic. I'll move on. Firstly, health. And this stemmed from my work in the Premier's electorate office when he was the Shadow Minister for Health. And my passion for this area grew and grew, and my knowledge of this area as well. And WA actually has the largest health jurisdiction in the world, and we need to be at the forefront of innovation and new technology to manage this unique landscape and the challenges that it presents. I welcome the decision to increase the focus on health across government by making several ministers responsible for different areas of focus across our health system. I've been involved in the Parliamentary Friends of Rare and Undiagnosed Diseases with the Honourable Matthew Swinburne and Honourable Donna Farragut over the past 4 years. I've met some inspirational people through the work of that group, such as Dr Gareth Bainham and Andrew Bannister, and I thank them for their ongoing efforts. I single out organ donation as an area of interest and the life-saving opportunity that it provides. Some amazing stories were shared in 2023 when WA hosted the World Transplant Games. Medical research and innovation is another area of health that fascinates me. There are a number of organisations and brilliant minds here in Western Australia carrying out groundbreaking research. I've had the privilege of being involved in the Bryant Stokes Neurological Research Foundation and working in collaboration with the Perrin Institute and the Sarich family. As an advisor in health during COVID, I believe that experience is invaluable, and take the opportunity to remind everyone of the great job our government did during that time of uncertainty, led by Premier Mark McGowan and Deputy Premier and Minister for Health at the time, Roger Cook. I'm strongly of the belief that more needs to be done in combating false information and misleading information online when it comes to health. Incorrect information being shared online can be very dangerous, and the negative impacts can be widespread. There are so many people across the WA community working to improve health and mental health outcomes. I've supported causes such as the Kai Feller Foundation, the Mackey Cup, the Barbarians Group, Happiness Co, the Women's and Infants Research Foundation, and local sporting clubs when they hold their mental health and breast cancer awareness rounds, just to name a few. Like many of my colleagues have mentioned, education and training is an area that always requires significant attention. As a dad with 3 young children, I'm witnessing every day the importance of good quality public education. In my inaugural speech in the other place, I committed to visit every TAFE in the South Metropolitan region, and I did. It opened my eyes to the many opportunities available to people who want to upskill or enter a particular vocation. Our investment in these facilities, combined with our range of free TAFE courses, makes this a very attractive proposition for anyone looking to skill up for their future career, or for those looking to change their profession. Past experience, not mentioned in the other place, in my inaugural speech there, which I think are worthy of mention, given I now have a second go at this. Early jobs in my teenage years and during university include working at a video shop, Video Easy. And I actually had to explain to my daughters what a video store was. I had the pleasure of being a dishie at Cicerello's in Fremantle, and a fun fact is that my godfather was actually Steve Cicerello, so there was something special about working there for a period of time. I used to walk straight from school, CBC in Fremantle, to the local public Fremantle golf course, picking up golf balls on the driving range as golfers tried their best to hit me. I still have the sound of 4 in the back of my mind all the time. I then went on to work at the Coolbellup Hotel bottle shop, drive-through, then the Broken Hill in Vic Park. I mention these because all of these roles helped me to learn and grow into the person I am here today. Often we can be criticised for not having any life experience. What this means is really anyone's guess, but for me, if you can survive working in the bottle at Coolbellup Hotel, when I did, you can probably make it anywhere. I make mention of my university education at Notre Dame in Fremantle, having completed a Bachelor of Arts in Politics and Journalism, and highlight the efforts of my dad at 82 years of age, also becoming a Notre Dame alumni just last year. I've also had the opportunity to travel prior to having kids, and have gained great insights and perspectives from being in other cities around the world. Deputy Speaker, as I stated towards the start of my speech, now my attention will shift to turning words into action, to be the best advocate I possibly can be for the community I've been elected to represent in this place, to ensure that these priority projects are delivered and to be a solid contributor to the electorate of opportunity that is Jandakot. So my commitment to them is to do that to the best of my ability, to be a strong advocate for our community, to work day in, day out to make our community an even better place to live, work and raise a family, and to always do what is right for WA. And in concluding my remarks now, there are obviously a number of people who I must thank, who without I would not be standing here today. Election campaigns are a team effort and my success would not have been possible without the time volunteered to help. To my campaign team and people I lent on for mentorship and guidance, who met regularly to keep me on track, I say thank you to the Honourable Clara Andrich, Guy Houston, Josh Cuniff, Joseph Pallett, Michael Beach, Brianna Domraki, Hannah Aziz, Callum Baxter, Yazzo Ponutharai, Neil Fergus, the Coombs family, all of my Labor colleagues, and my staff in the previous term in Julie Valentine and Phoebe Kelsby. I'm going to single out Josh for a very special mention, my campaign manager. I'm going to turn into a sook here. He's also my nephew. We've come a long way from, gosh, shocking, come on. We've come a long way from family get-togethers where he grew up in Bunbury to crunching the numbers on election night. Josh gave up his own time on top of a busy job and young family of his own to keep the campaign momentum going and make sure I was where I needed to be when I needed to be there. While we definitely had our moments, I'm sure all campaigns do, I wouldn't be standing here now without his support. In addition, there were also the people who supported me along the way, of which there are too many to mention individually. But I give a special shout out to the Janes, Jane Dalton and Jane Waters, who loved door knocking together, to Laurel Ellis, to Nat Duthie and to Aisling Doyle, who were regularly volunteering their time to join me door knocking. The little group around me grew steadily along the way, which was fantastic and made me feel better about how we were going. I also want to thank my opponent, Nicole Robbins, the Liberal Party candidate, and her family. I appreciate the amicable nature in which we were able to approach things in what was a hard-fought campaign. Campaigning is hard work, and I was lucky enough to be surrounded by some of the best people. From my election day booth captains, volunteers and scrutineers, to my election campaign pre-pollers, door knockers and phone callers, I say a very heartfelt thank you. Despite the searing heat or pouring rain, you all continued to turn up week after week and day after day. My personal campaign commitment was unwavering too, with a dog bite and a tetanus needle to prove it. Upon reflection, I'm almost certain it was a Chichuana. I had to call on all my reserves too, even some of my oldest schoolmates. Special mentions to Chris Petroni, Daniel Turco, Peter Connolly, who set up and packed down an election booth after spending all day there, and in the lead up to election day drove around the electorate putting out signs for me and replacing the constantly disappearing ones too. Thanks, guys. There are also the mates who pitched in on weekends to help me make endless yard signs. As blokes, we don't tend to say much to each other, but I really do appreciate your help, not to mention the banter. But most importantly, the biggest thank you goes to my family. Here we go again. I'm going to get all soppy again. This has been and will continue to be taxing on them, and I could not do it without the support of my wife, Eleanor. Juggling her own high-pressure job, our 3 young children, school lunches, drop-offs and everything in between to allow me to campaign for a year, including regular door-knocking and several media and community events, was a huge undertaking. It would not be possible for me to do this role without Eleanor's help, and I'm forever grateful. Of course, there has also been one very significant change, or addition really, since my inaugural speech in the other place in 2021. The arrival of our son, Lennox Kane Pratt, almost 3 years ago, who joined the family alongside my daughters, Imogen and Phoebe, and they're in the speakers gallery today. My daughters, who were just 4 and 2 when I delivered my first speech in Parliament and sat relatively quietly in the chamber, are now sitting here again today, having just turned 8 and 6. We've been able to watch them grow up on the steps of Parliament, which has been very special. Although difficult to comprehend at times, my constant absences from home life, especially during the election campaign, all 3 of my children do understand the importance of what I do. They also know that what I'm doing here in this place and outside in the seat of Jandakot matters. I'm grateful too for the ongoing support of my mother-in-law Robin, who has provided us with endless time and help with the kids, but has also become someone I can have a constructive conversation and political debate with. To my dad Baden for your support and guidance, daily phone calls and SMS pep talks, your passion for politics, people and making our community even better continues on through me, along with your love for the mighty North Fremantle Football Club and our united yet sometimes frustrating passion for the Fremantle Dockers. And to my mum, Cheryl, who has been a constant source of strength and determination in the face of adversity. I simply say thank you. I will do everything I can to make you proud. I'm glad I got 3 minutes. I'm very fortunate to have such beautiful, supportive family and a passion for making communities better. These values I learnt from my parents and grandparents, Frank and Joy, who I've mentioned previously in the other place. And they are the same values I'm teaching my own children: decency, compassion and commitment. These are the values that will guide my time in this place as a fierce advocate for the people of Jandakot in the Cook Labor government. The work is just beginning. And as I conclude my speech, I turn my attention to making these words count. Now it's the time for action. Thank you. Hugs all around.
go out there. Your kids are starting to
Cheers.